Hi, welcome back to the Cult Dynamics Guide playlist. I'm Heather, still from K2Z, and we are going through cult dynamics based on this work. And we left off with this one. Members are expected to devote inordinate amounts of time to the group and group-related activities. Is there pressure to say yes to lots of things? I've been in so many organizations that are like that, where they do use guilt as well and shame to get you to say yes to more things. And some can even suggest that there is something wrong with you if you're not willing to step up all the time, and that you need to do some inner work in order to make yourself more available to do that. That's cult dynamics for you. Pause. Remember that there is a Facebook group. If you'd like information on how to join that, there'll be a link at the end. You can go in and talk about your own experiences with actual cults or with dynamics that you see playing out in all sorts of places. It can be a workplace. It doesn't need to be a religion or some kind of spiritual thing or activism. It can play out in lots of different ways. Okay, pause. What kind of commitment is expected from you in this organization, movement, job? They expect you to, like if it's a paid work, do they expect you to actually do a lot more than that? And of course, we know that salaried jobs tend to mean unpaid overtime. And that can be a cult dynamic, but it doesn't have to be. You have to look at the whole picture. But in any case, is it very healthy that we're not being compensated for our time, depending on what kind of job we have? Is money involved? Are you expected to be giving money? Are you expected to make some big lifestyle changes? I don't think I've ever been involved in a movement or organization where lifestyle changes were expected. Sometimes these movements already had an element of lifestyle, which meant people who valued that kind of lifestyle were already attracted to the movement, but it wasn't like they were converting people in the middle of it once they've joined. But maybe you've got other experiences on that. Pause. Get good at noticing when your nervous system is triggered, and that we want to look around, listen to the cars going by, listen to these Colombian birds singing. I can hear a radio. It's just one way to regulate our nervous systems. Members are encouraged or required to live and or socialize only with other group members. So I was involved in a movement where young people were encouraged to live together, to save money, to make it easier to do the activism. And I thought that was so great. And maybe it is okay. However, looking at it through the lens of cult dynamics made me think, okay, there is a danger here. You might want to pause and try and guess what I'm going to say. Danger could be that if you're living in that space And that's how you get your shelter and your food. And you start to criticize or question the movement, you could lose, food and shelter. You could lose friends. So there's going to be fear around rocking the boat, fear around dissent, questioning, and doubts if your well-being, your subsistence depends upon this group. So it reinforces the willingness to follow what's being said. So we just need to question it. We don't need to assume that it's some kind of automatically a bad thing. But if you were putting together, some kind of, offering this kind of space, you'd want to make sure that there's a healthy space for feedback and for dissent, and for when people decide they might want to move on. What is your duty of care to those people so that you are able to support people if they are relying on the space to live? It's complex. It's not going to be easy. This is what we want people to be thinking about. Okay. The most loyal members feel there can be no life outside the context of the group. They believe there is no other way and often fear reprisals to themselves or others if they leave or even consider leaving the group. So if people have joined a movement, for example, have they stopped staying in touch with other people? Are they does it feel like they're sacrificing thing about their life in order to be a part of this movement? And if they want to leave, what does it feel like? Are people like, oh, we'd miss you, or but yeah, we really want to hear about your experiences, and we still want to hang out with you even when you've stopped participating in the movement or whatever? Like, what kind of attitude? Or is it, oh, well, if you're going to leave, then you're losing all of your friends, you're losing all of your social support, your network? Pause. So when people have left, are ties cut off with them? Are they ostracized? How are they treated? How are they spoken about? Are they like troublemakers, that left? Now, saying, will the group give you names of people who left? I mean, it depends on what kind of thing we're talking about here. If it's a cult or something with cult dynamics, there's privacy issues, obviously. But is there a place to check, like, what were the experiences of people who left? Is it public knowledge, that, oh, I left because, I left the Green Party because I didn't like the policy and whatever? Is it just straightforward like that, or is it secretive when people talk about why they left? Are people scared to say why they left? Is there abuse involved? Are there accusations, and so they have to be careful about what they say publicly? Why are people leaving? Is it because they've moved on to, they found a different political party, or they found a different movement that met other needs, or why? ideally you'd have this kind of transparency, but obviously, it depends on the context. If it's a chess club, are people giving up their lives for this chess club, or is it just kind of hobby thing and everyone's got their own lives outside of the tournaments and the classes, and so it's not that big of a deal? But is there something being hidden? Obviously there can be stuff going on in any kind of organization. Pause. So again, are people speaking about their experiences? Are they willing to, or is there some kind of fear? And we want this information. We want information to determine the health of an organization, a workplace, a movement. And so we want to hear, like, what were the good things? What were the hard things? And what's in place to try to improve based on that feedback? What kind of mechanism is there? What kind of process is there? We just have one more left after this. Now, this one ties in with the white supremacy culture pattern around quantity over quality. The group is preoccupied with bringing in new members. Is it really all about numbers? And especially if membership means more money, which, sometimes it can. How much time and effort, how many resources are being put into the quality of the experience of the members and in getting really good feedback from members in order to improve for everybody? So that's something that you would want to question. Of course, this one doesn't apply so much to a workplace. This could be more to do with a political party, a movement, a membership organization, obviously. Okay, so that brings us to the close of this guide video series on cult dynamics. We've already done the white supremacy culture patterns. The next one will be ecofascism, being an ally, internalized oppression, tone policing, cultural appropriation, language liberation, hope and privilege, certainty, nonviolence in a violent world, community accountability, restorative justice, support pods and mutual aid, and a solution that works for everyone, which is based on convergent facilitation. So I explain how these all connect with one another throughout the different playlists and guides. And there will also be a video or a series for people who are driven by a collapse narrative. For example, people in Deep Adaptation Forum and people who've been in movements like Extinction Rebellion. So I will speak specifically to those kinds of experiences in a different series. Lastly, please join the Facebook group if you would like a space to reflect on what you're learning in here. If you would like to book a workshop so that you can do this live with other people, with me, you can do that on the website as well. And you can also make a donation to our work here in Colombia. The cost of living is very low, which means that British pounds, US dollars go a really long way. So any little bit that you can do would be really appreciated. You can make a donation on the website, or you can PayPal me at HeatherLuna1. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video series. you.